All right. So part two, precious metals. We're on a bull run here, Marty. How long does this last? Does gold go to 10,000? Does silver go to 500? Uh, the gold silver ratio? What are we looking at here from a cyclical standpoint and historical?
Well, cyclical work, we would expect gold to continue eventually into 2026. That's where we also see war coming. Um, your first real resistance is at the 4,500 level. You get
Hmm.
through that, um, you'll test the 5,000, which is a number I gave out probably, 15 years ago. But uh, 5,000 is a major psychological level. And once you cross that, then the next number of people we'll be talking about will be 10,000. They always exponentially rise it to the next whole number for some reason. Um, I've watched this for like 50 years. You take out 100, it's not going to 110 or 120. No, now we go to 200.
To
Um,
250, yeah.
so they will jump from 5 to 10 once you cross that 5 level. But the first real um, resistance is the 45. And this is why you have China buying gold, largely because, look, there was a meeting with, the foreign minister of China with Kalis. And she pulled her nonsense. Oh, tell Russia to back out, get out of here, and don't interfere. Basically saying we're going to defeat Russia. And China, to her face, said, we are not prepared to allow Russia to lose. And he said, because I knew somebody was there, he said to her face, straight up, we know we would be next.
Hmm. It's
Which
true.
is absolutely true. They will
And
not stop with Russia. Then they'll
yeah,
go after China.
yeah, and we know really China and Russia are not natural allies here. They've been pushed together
Yeah,
against us. We created the coalition against the West because the Chinese, all they want is to take over Siberia and colonize it, and because they're a people without land, and Siberia is a land without people. It's like perfect, and they've been fighting over this, Russia and China, for decades now. So people never realize it. So what about silver, Marty? Silver. Everyone's
yeah. No, the
watching
silver
silver.
basically will follow suit too. I mean, um, we're looking at people that it's not gold backed or whatever. And look, that's all kind of nonsense. It's we're looking at geopolitical issues here, and when you get into a geopolitical situation, um, Europe is on the verge of basically bankruptcy. We just had, EU, you know, trying to keep everybody together, but you had the UK um, and France, their finance ministers actually admitting that they might have to get an IMF loan. And I know a lot of people don't understand banking and all the rest of this stuff, but um, and they hate the Fed, etc. But our system is much better, right? The
Oh, let's
reserves
play
of
on
banks
this.
can only be a federal debt. As you know, when they were forming the euro, they came to me. And I said, look, okay, fine, you're going to compete with the dollar, you got to consolidate the debts. And the German Chancellor Kohl wouldn't allow that to happen. He knew that the German people wouldn't vote for it, so he took Germany into the euro unilaterally, and he basically said no consolidation of the debt because they would look at it as bailing out Greece. But the problem is that if France gets into difficulty, each bank has a cornucopia of the debts of each country because there is no federal debt. So the traders, I've been a trader for 50 years. I know what you're going to do. All right. The first thing will happen, which bank has the most French debt? Destroy it. All right. That's what will happen. In the U.S., if California went bust, all the traders are going, who's next? Oh, Illinois. They're not going to go to the Fed. All right. And they did that when Greece got into trouble in 2010. Oh, who's next? Spain. Okay. This is the problem with Europe. There's no federal consolidation. So if I can, like I've said, I can pick up the phone and say, buy me $10 billion worth of treasuries. Europe, I still have to make the same decision as if the euro was not there. Do I want France? Do I want Italy? Do I want Germany? This is what you got to do. The same as if the currencies were still there.
So the dollar is going to go up then, isn't it?
Yeah, this is why the dollar's been going up. The stock market's been making highs, and gold's been making highs.
So money's flowing. Money's flowing from Europe into the U.S. flight capital, effectively, and from China too, right?
Yeah, you have. All you got to do is look. Forget all the bullshit. All right. U.S., as I've said before, J.P. Morgan had to bail us out with $100 million loan in gold in 1896. We're bankrupt. So by the end of World War I, we replaced Britain as the financial capital. By World War II, we had 76% of the entire world gold reserves. Why? Because everybody else is running around blowing each other up. All the money came here. All right. And trust me, I mean, this is why I'm concerned about Trump. He's just listening to these people, and he is basically signing the death warrant of the United States. Because he just told NATO they're still buying oil from Russia, cut that off, as if that's going to stop the war. He's completely being indoctrinated by, I mean, you might as well have just John Bolton as president, basically, really.
Right.
Or maybe Dick Cheney again. He would like that power. And
Cheney's a little too old now.
He's listening to the wrong people.
Okay.
And you want peace. It's Zelensky. It's got to be removed. Let the Ukrainian people have a real election and vote. Every Ukrainian I speak to says the same thing. If Zelensky was on fire, they wouldn't piss on him until he was dead.
All right.
He has no support. That's why he won't have an election.
Yeah.
And they're all stuffing their pockets with as much money. I mean, I told Washington, and I think it started to come out a little bit. He's been sending $50 million a month to accounts to hidden accounts in UAE per month.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's why I tell people, why bother sending your income tax into Washington? Just write it out to Zelensky and send it to him. Cut out the middleman.
Hey, so what about the call of 65,000 Dow by 2032? Is there anything, any storm clouds on the horizon?
No, I don't really see a stock market crash.
Really?
I know you got all these guys saying, "Oh, it's going." They're just looking at charts from 1929 or something, and the computer's just not showing that. It's when you have war on the outside, that money's coming here, and the institutions, they buy the blue chips.
Yeah.
So just watch. You'll see, as long as the Dow is leading the way for the S&P and the NASDAQ, that's showing you it's big capital coming from overseas.
So it's liquid, easily investable, easy to get rid of when you need to.
Yeah, look, an institutional investor, he's not going to buy a startup in NASDAQ or something, because if he's wrong, he loses his career. All right? If he buys the Dow 30 and it drops 50%, he doesn't lose his job because everybody else did. All right. That's really the way it works. Um, it's if you stick your neck out, you lost money and everybody else made, you're gone. you know?
Uh,
uh,
that was the old thing. Nobody ever got fired for buying IBM when it came to buying hardware, computer hardware, even though their product, besides service, was behind the competition.
it's look. I mean, people ask me all the time, how did you ever become the biggest? Because largely we have so many institutions that that is all I can say is that they all take us because everybody else does, and they're not going to. If you walked in there and say, "Hey, I got this model; it's the greatest thing since sliced bread," he's not going to risk his career on it. He
No.
can't.
Safety,
It
there's
doesn't work
safety
that
in
way.
numbers. Safety in numbers,
Yeah, you
right?
got to prove yourself. It's look, we've got a track record of more than 40 years that is verifiable.
I know. I
Um,
wrote the book here, The World According to Martin Armstrong, right?
um,
And you know, it's we've got 19 calls now that you made that came true when nobody else, no one out there believed any of it was possible whatsoever, including you were the first person to call the shift of Wall Street collectively. We're talking the financial industry. It's moved from New York to Florida to Miami. So that probably brings it to about 20 or 21. And that's only you and I since 2011, plus a couple of calls that you're universally well known for, like calling the peak of the gold cycle, the ruble, the pound collapse, all of that. So yeah, your
Plus,
record.
everybody was just surprised because I said, look, the computer came up as if Florida would be the number one state. I moved here in 2016. They said, you really believe that? I said, yep. What I paid for my house, I can sell it for 4 times the price.
Wow, amazing. So no surprises, and hey, in any event, so go to the website, pick up a copy of The World According to Martin Armstrong. We're going to be coming up with an updated version, and I think this interview will be the last chapter in it, plus 5 things that you need to keep track of to always remember when you're investing. If you got a question for Martin or myself, shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. We'll get you an answer. And coming up is the World Economic Conference. Marty, your annual get together. You got thousands. I mean, you had a lot of people there physically, but you had thousands of people on live stream from every continent. I don't know. Did you have anybody from Antarctica there on the live stream?
I don't know about that, but we do basically streaming in I think it's 37 countries. Um,
Amazing.
it was I think well over 100,000, but we can't fit that many people in a.
Well,
Um,
I'm going to be there. It's in Orlando. I'll throw a link in the show notes. Make sure if you can go there, it really is a community of people who've been following Marty, following you for decades already. I learned so much from these people there. It was amazing. Like they really, you've educated people in a way that no wonder they're scared of you, because when you start not buying the narrative, when you start deconstructing the narrative and showing that what they're telling you is false, all of a sudden you become a threat. Now you were a huge threat because you were so prominent. You were at the top of the financial food chain. But for us little people, we don't have to worry so much that they're coming after us. But at least when you got a glimpse of what's going to happen, you can at least make a plan, do something. And I think, Marty, that will, when history goes back and looks at your life and examines you, which they definitely should, that will be your greatest accomplishment, that you enlightened so many of us, so many of you out there, And for that, I'm grateful, and I know all of you watching are.
Well, thank you. I mean, this will actually be our 40th annual conference. The first one was 1985.
Wow. All right. All right,
Getting old.
buddy. It's hard to believe. So this is number 40. So you got to do some special event for it or something here, because it's definitely noteworthy. And we appreciate all you do. And make sure you go to armstrongeconomics.com, sign up for Marty's notifications. Extremely valuable. I'm going to start tracking them on my website because I don't have anything better to do, Marty. And at least your stuff is interesting, and I learned something from it.
Well, thank you very much. It's the Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times, right?
And we are living in that. Marty, we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you in Orlando.
Okay, take care.